Hey guys, this is the Dominator of the World doing another commentary video on Empire Total War. I command the Spanish and my opponent, Trogobrrock, commands the French. In my Spanish army, I have one 4-inch motor battery, 3 Guardias de Corps, and there they are, look at their armor is pretty sweet, their uniforms I mean. I have 1 unit of Cuirassier, 4 units of Cazadores, 2 units of Guardias de Infanteria, and 5 units of line infantry. My trogobrrock's army has 2 units of Cuirassier, 9 units of line infantry, 1 18-pounder horse guard artillery, 1 unit of grenadiers, 2 chasseurs à pied, and 2 tirailleurs. In the beginning, whenever I was telling you my army, I kind of messed up, and those infantry dudes that I said had awesome uniforms, those were my Guardias de Infanteria, and not my Guardias de Corps. So anyways, I'm sending my cavalry forward to attack his chasseurs à pied, which have, gone up my flank, so that because he was hoping to flank me, but I decided to send my cavalry against him. So here comes the rest of my cavalry to reinforce that one cavalry force that has already charged into them. And look at them galloping away. Almost happily. I've moved up my skirmisher force a bit, and now I'm moving up my main infantry force to reinforce their lines. Over on my far left flank, my opponent sent the rest of his cavalry around the forest so that I couldn't see, and I didn't see it until the last moment, and I was able to send 4 units, which was a bit much, of infantry to counterattack his cavalry, and they all get into square, but it appears that his cavalry wasn't interested in my infantry. They were kind of disappointed at that, but they were interested in my skirmishers, and they're gonna rout one of my skirmisher units, but this unit of line infantry here is gonna be able to rout both of them before they can get to any more later on in the battle. So there they are, routing one of my skirmisher units in my left flank, and there's my square attacking his cavalry, and here's a little close-up. I think those are his Cuirassier. Yeah, those are his Cuirassier, and that's my line infantry. So, what now? Seeing that the threat is somewhat handled, I begin to send the rest of my infantry force I sent over there to my center so that they can reinforce the center even more. But I didn't see that he was sending 2 more units of infantry to aid his cavalry over in the same route that his cavalry went to. So I'm not going to see that until they're right on top of me, but I'm going to be able to repel them. But it's going to cost me a lot of my troops because I wasn't ready for them. So I probably should have left my infantry there. But then again, if I hadn't moved them, I probably would have lost my center completely, but either way. So now my skirmishers are exchanging fire with his tirailleurs, and there they are. Their uniforms are pretty sweet too, almost like the British green jackets. Those are his chasseurs à pied, I think. I'm not really sure, but anyways, you can see I'm routing his cavalry is routing now, and my infantry has gotten out of square, and now they're getting into position so they can shoot at the oncoming infantry units that have sneaked up behind me. And I'm gonna fire the first shots, and these are my Guardias de Infanteria that are firing, the ones with the really sweet uniforms. So here they go, and they're gonna do a lot of damage to this 1 unit of French infantry. and they're gonna rout very soon. Look at all the dead French bodies here. That's how much damage my Guardias de Infanteria do. But of course they're elite units, and these are only line infantry, so I wasn't at all surprised by this. But still, over here, behind my Guardias de Infanteria, our line infantry's got into a little bayonet fight. And I don't think this was on purpose. Our guys were getting into position, and one guy yelled at another, and the next thing me and my opponent know, our guys were drawing bayonets and were stabbing each other, and a bayonet fight broke out. So I'm going to send the other line infantry unit to reinforce my other line infantry unit in the bayonet fight. So one of my guys just got stabbed to death. And here's a little fancy bayonet fighting work. Behind the bayonet fight, I'm bringing out my cavalry so that they can eventually flank charge his line infantry in the bayonet fight. In the center, you can see that all I have is my skirmishers, and that's not a good thing. In this clip, I'm showing you his tirailleurs getting owned by my cavalry. Because look at how they flew. I thought it was pretty funny. But here's my left flank again, and in the bayonet fight, he's managed to rout one of my line infantry units, and so it's only one line infantry unit against another. But I'm eventually going to bring my cavalry over to help the situation. His French units are firing on my center now, and they're managing to rout these guys because these guys are dropping dead and dying. Because I guess they're so upset at being shot at by so many people. My cavalry got through with his tirailleurs, and now they're attacking his grenadiers. And eventually he's gonna send in some of his line infantry to aid his grenadiers. And my cavalry is gonna get owned. But we managed to kill a bit of his grenadiers before that happens. Over here in my far left flank, I'm going to show you my suicidal general charge. But before I show you that, I'm showing you the remains of my line infantry that were in the bayonet fight. Okay, back to my general. My general was kind of under the influence of beverages, and he decided to lead his staff into a suicidal charge against line infantry. And here's the charge, and two of his guys are already dead from the charge. And there's my general fighting drunkenly, like he's supposed to. And this eventually gets him killed, but he's not that important anymore. Here my cavalry is now getting owned by his line infantry, like I told you they would. And they're now starting to rout. Over here in the left flank, I guess you could call it now, my line infantry, or no, those are my Guardias de Infanteria, are duking it out with his line infantry. And his line infantry, he was getting his line infantry into some sort of position, but in doing so, he kind of got lost a lot of guys. And there my general died. So now he decides to charge some of his line infantry units into my Guardias de Infanteria. And I want to show you a close-up of this bayonet fight, because there are some cool things that happen. There one of my guys got stabbed. And over here, look what happens to this French dude. Stab. Bam. That looked like it hurt. So now, at this point, I only have my Guardias de Infanteria and my artillery unit, and there's a trogobrrock's general unit looking at the battle with interest. And there's my artillery unit, who I told to abandon their posts and to charge into these grenadiers. And they managed to rout the grenadiers, which is a bit sad since the grenadiers outnumbered us. And apparently some of the grenadiers had the crazy idea to fire at point blank range whenever some of their friends were in front of them. And even though they were at point blank range, they missed all of my, they weren't able to kill any of my guys. So that's basically the end of the battle, because he routs my guys, and I lost. But this has been one of my favorite battles since I got the game. And for a couple of minutes, me and my opponent were talking about how much we enjoyed it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and good game to